Hello, I'm Jash, and welcome back to more of Jash Reads, the series where I read a book cover to cover and discuss it chapter by chapter. And today we are continuing our ongoing adventure. I think it's now been probably over a year of Animorphs number 13, The Change by K.A. Applegate. And besides the whole, reading thing, we also have a Minecraft building thing. Yay! Woo! So we're doing that too. There's a nice little element, visual element, and also an audio one. Yay! Okay, let me get the chat up and running. Okay, and as you can see, one of our many lovely bees has decided to visit us. Hello, little Mr. Bee. You're so cute. Oh my god, the bees in this game are just adorable. Thank you, Iron Golem. Just about to finish up. Oof. And today has been hectic. It just feels like that. Again, oh, it's dark here, so let us sleep. One of my doctor's offices has decided to constantly call my dad for just checking in with the appointment. Are you still going to make it to the appointment? Hello, little guy. Let's see, where have we built? Oh yeah, over here, yeah. So, for some reason, this doctor's office has decided to continually contact my dad about just unimportant, Okay, my dad's my emergency contact from a doctor's office, or at least he was. And so, if there's an emergency, contact the emergency contact. Okay, I get that, but they've been contacting him about, hey, is your daughter going to be able to make it for this appointment? That's not an emergency situation, by the way. So, they should not have been contacting him about that shite. But they were, for some reason, so I was finally able to... So I finally got to talking to them today. Just so, they would stop contacting him about that shite. That's fun to deal with. And then I didn't, respond to Dad when they, again decided that they were going to, contact him about the doctor's appointment. I didn't contact him about actually calling back and saying, take him off my contacts and resolving the issue. So he just texted me shortly before I started this stream. Going, look, I did such a good job by contacting your doctor's office and giving them the right phone number. Now I'm slightly worried about what happened. Did they actually allow my dad to make changes, or did they just say some bullshit to, just make him a little calmer? I don't know if I'm going to keep these torches or not. sometimes, hopefully they lied, and they didn't allow him to actually make changes anymore. I mean, someone at Zero Emergency Contact shouldn't be able to make any changes to any of your accounts. Unless, it's an actual emergency. And you can't, do shit. So, hopefully whatever happened made the doctors realize how much of a fucking narcissist he is, and decide never to contact him again. Okay, we've set up torches for this room. Maybe we'll make it another living room. Actually, let's set up a little profession. Fletching. Actually, let me put a bed down here, just make sure I remember that I do want some, beds in here. Okay. Now, the little update about my life is done. Let's get started to read Animorphs number 13, chapter 20. And as a little warning before we continue, I have 4 live birds. Sometimes they do the most random, stupidest shit, and I have to stop what I'm doing to rescue them. Danny, all day, has been doing flock call after flock call. Oh my god. So, just be aware. I might suddenly have to stop this, get away from the mic, deal with shit, and then continue, so. Just be aware. I love them to death and back, but still, oh my god. Anyways, let's check on what our lovely friend Tobias is up to, because I'm sure there's not going to be anything trauma-inducing in this chapter. No, I haven't read it 1,000 times before and did practice yesterday or anything. Hey. Do not take off, Jorah. You look like you're about to start some shit. But anyways, here we go. Animorphs, number 13, The Change by K.A. Applegate, chapter 20. And hi, Iron Golem. Are you going to... Oh, we got a little crowd going. Nice. Anyways, let's get to it. The raccoon watched me from masked black eyes. I flared my one good wink and snapped with my beak. But the raccoon was too smart and too experienced to fall for my tricks. It knew... I'm going to have to fucking turn that sound off. I think people are finally replying and helping me out. Okay, hang on. Yeah, the guys group I'm talking to finally is answering a question, of course, when I'm doing a stream. Okay, I might get the... I'm discussing something with a friend. Okay. Sorry, it's just... Last night, he was talking about this app, and I asked a question, and so he's finally replying, so... I have turned the notifications for that chat off, so they're not going to be a detriment to this stream anymore. And this one's A really good stream, really having a good, strong start here. Anyways, let's start over. The raccoon watched me from masked black eyes. I flared my one good wing and snapped with my beak. But the raccoon was too smart and too experienced to fall for my tricks. It knew I was helpless. Vroomp, 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 vroomp. A second helicopter passed overhead, indifferent to the plight of a crippled hawk. The raccoon grabbed me by my broken wing and began to drag me. I was on my back, being dragged by an animal not much bigger than a large tabby cat. I snapped again and again, but I couldn't reach the raccoon with my beak. I couldn't turn well enough to bring my talons to bear. And the raccoon knew it. I heard the gurgling sound of water rushing over stones. Horror filled me. The fear was so terrible, I almost fainted. You see, I knew what was coming next. People say raccoons wash their food. Actually, that's not true. Raccoons do sometimes run water over their food, but it is not about cleanliness. Raccoons are careful eaters. With their sensitive paws, they dig through the meat, feeling for anything they don't want. The water rushing over their paws helps them feel. The raccoon was going to eat me, and it didn't really care if I was alive. No, no, no! I screamed to the deaf forest. I felt ice-cold water flow through my feathers, and I felt the busy fingers of the raccoon. No, no! You asked me for payment in exchange for using you. Would you like your reward now? Ellimist? Now? Yes, now would be a really, really good time, I screamed. It is done. What's done? Nothing is done, you lunatic! I'm still a bird! Of course. Help me! The raccoon was literally looking down at me like you might look at a steak. He was deciding where to bite first. The Andalite gave you power. Use it. I was too insane with terror to figure out what he was saying at first. Then it dawned on me. What? What? That's my reward? That's all? You're giving me back my morphing power? It's what you wanted. I wanted to be human again. I screamed. You liar. You cheat. I want to be human. But the Ellimist said nothing more. And my problem right then was the raccoon. His tiny, razor-sharp teeth were descending toward me. So with my last ounce of self-control, ignoring the shearing pain in my wing, I turned just enough to grab one of his hind legs in my weakened talon. Focus, Tobias, I told myself. Focus or get eaten. I focused. I concentrated with all my will, and to my utter amazement, I saw the raccoon's eyes cloud over. I felt his grip weaken. And like a miracle, I felt myself begin to acquire the raccoon. I felt it become a part of me. I had morphed only two animals, a cat and a red-tailed hawk. I had never escaped the red-tailed morph. I didn't have much experience morphing, not like the others. And as I concentrated on the raccoon DNA inside me, I felt my beak begin to soften, my talons begin to fatten, and my wings, my glorious wings, began to shrink. The raccoon, the real raccoon, recoiled in surprise. He stepped back and stared as I morphed into him. It wasn't much of a change of size. Raccoons aren't much larger than hawks. But everything else was different. My eyes were growing dim, and suddenly I could smell as well as I could hear. Feathers were melting into gray and black fur. I was morphing! I was morphing! The real raccoon had had enough. He was a smart, wily old scrapper, and he knew better than to hang around in a place where birds turn into raccoons. He waddled away. I was safe. For now, safe and becoming something I had never been before. The sharp edge of terror started to recede, and I could almost enjoy what was happening. I was morphing. I had the power again. I wouldn't have to sit on the bench when the others went into danger. I was back. But not human. It's what you wanted. That's what the Ellimist said. But he was a liar. He was a cheat. He had tricked me. I wanted to be human. I wanted to be human again, with my own hands and feet and eyes and mouth. No time for that now, I told myself. Get to the others. Hurry. I took off at a run. Amazing. It was amazing to be running, to be down at ground level with things rushing past. The ground was so close below me. It was scary in a way. I kept thinking, pull up, pull up. In my guts, I felt this need for altitude. It's dangerous, flying too close to the ground. And no matter how I tried to hurry, the raccoon body was not built for speed. It lumbered along. It seemed to need to stop constantly to sniff at this or that. It wasn't that I couldn't control the body. I could. That part had been fairly easy. I mean, the instincts of the raccoon, the urgent need for food, the fear of predators, all that was normal to me. I just couldn't get the stubby legs to move fast enough. My friends were half a mile away. I'd never reach them in time to help. I stopped. I was panting heavily. The raccoon heart was racing. What could I do? What could I do? I'd ended up in a useless morph. I craned my raccoon head upward. I couldn't see very well, but I knew the sky was up there. I could see a faded sort of blue through the trees. Wait, was it possible? Could I remorph back into my own body? My red-tailed body? DNA isn't affected by injuries. If I morphed back to red tail, I wouldn't have the broken wing. Would I? The others had done it. They had morphed out of injured bodies. Then, when they remorphed, the bodies were whole again. I had to try. It was so stupid. I'd been left out of so many missions because I couldn't morph. Now I could morph, and I was totally useless. I focused. I closed my weak raccoon eyes and focused on a different body. A body with feathers and wings. And slowly, I became myself again. And that's the end of the chapter, folks. So yeah, that was this chapter was in a book. And the book was, meant for kids, young adults. A chapter where one of the heroes of the series nearly gets eaten alive. Yeah, that's perfect for kids. Villager dude, you're gonna need to move. Everyone's just gonna get in the way. Book meant for, kids. When the heroes nearly get eaten alive. And this isn't... Guys, this isn't the first time that has happened in the series where a character is nearly eaten alive. Sometimes by one of the other heroes. God. Yeah, that was a non-traumatizing chapter or anything. I think a simple room like this is okay. Yeah. Give all the villagers something to do. Yeah, this will be a nice little library bedroom, yeah. Yeah, it's like... This series honestly goes places where a lot of kids' series does not. I don't know how I can keep telling people that... Guess what? The kids will interpret this, this scene, this chapter, much differently than adults. I mean, obviously there's still the terror, but I guess I can't really describe. When I was a kid, I don't remember this chapter really hitting me as hard as it does as an adult. How close am I? Oh, I am really close to the ceiling there. Oh yeah, they don't hang from walls. Oh, I remember being a kid and not, not interpreting as I do as an adult. I think as a kid, it's more that I was concerned with the whole big adventure over, hey, look, there's a 13-year-old kid nearly gained alive by a raccoon. I think that's the best way to describe it. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of these bookshelves. It's great that even in the darkest moment there, we're getting a little update on, you know, more animal facts. Don't you just love them animal facts? Hey folks, here is why raccoons put their food under running water. And you won't believe it. It has nothing to do with cleanliness. Isn't that a fun animal fact, guys? Isn't that such a fun animal fact? Aren't you glad you learned that fun animal fact today? Well, Tobias is getting eaten alive? Isn't that a fun animal fact? Oh my god. So let's put a nice little table here. And then at the end where it's like, oh no, am I actually going to heal? Like, I would say something about his intelligence, but you know, he's a teenage kid that nearly got eaten alive. And, oh yeah, and not only that, but he's a teenage kid that nearly got eaten alive. And then the dude that was supposed to be, you know, helping him out says that, oh yeah, I totally helped you out, dude. And I gave you what you wanted. And then you have to deal with, but that's not what I wanted. And have to, you know, put it on the back burner of maybe that's what I really wanted. I read the Ellimist like I did in this video because the Ellimist knows that Tobias wants to be useful, and this war against the Yerk situation, that does mean, you know, he's going to have to be able to be a bigger part of the fight. And what that means is he's going to have to be able to morph. Yeah. Oh, I'm not doing the reading yet. I'm doing the discussion. Okay. Let's see. You changed. Yeah, because I was logging in on Hotmail, and then it was like, I tried all the passwords and it wasn't. But thank you for asking. Yeah, so for some reason, I think your, not your bank account, your email account's listed as a, yeah, backup. Okay. Yeah, suspicious. Yeah. The Ellimist did give Tobias what he wanted. It's just Tobias didn't realize that's something he actually... We're all watching you. It's just nothing that... It's just Tobias didn't consciously realize he actually wanted to morph, that he didn't want to become human. Because you notice even in this chapter, where he's talking about, oh no, he betrayed me. This isn't what I wanted. Like, language he uses really indicates like, hang on. Let me give an example from near the end of the chapter. And slowly I became myself again. He didn't say I slowly became the hawk again. I slowly became myself. And there were other instances in chapter 2 where Tobias is clearly thinking of the hawk as himself. Like, he's relating to the raccoon because it's like so much like he is as a hawk. So yeah, like Tobias, has every right to feel betrayed. It's not the... It isn't... He has every right to feel betrayed, even though he's getting what he actually wants. Because he doesn't realize that yet, and in that moment, where he's like, oh my god, I'm going to become human again. But imagine if he did become human. Like, imagine the Ellimist was like, okay, I can see you're consciously thinking that you want to be human, so I will give you back your human body. Just imagine that reaction. Tobias would not be happy at all. He'd probably be, happy for a moment, like, oh my god, the Ellimist didn't lie to me. But then he'd quickly go, I'm useless. One reason he ends up not liking the raccoon morph there is because I'm useless again. I don't have a point anymore. So my question for this video, you want to comment below your answer, and the question is, how do you think Tobias would have reacted if the Ellimist had actually turned him human? And as a little follow-up question, do you think Tobias wanted to be human more than he wanted his power to morph back? Now, please comment down below. Also, comment down below any questions you have about anything I did or didn't mention in the chapter, but remember, no major spoilers for the series. I'm hoping against hope that people will get into the Animorphs series because of these dramatic readings. And now we will get to the links. And the links, a few things about the links. The first is that some of them are Amazon associate links, which means if you buy something via the link, I get a little something from it. So it's perfect if you want to support the original creators and myself at the same time. Maybe I'll put something else up on the ceiling there. Okay. And If you're watching this live on Twitch, I will be providing the links in the description at sometime after the stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, you won't have that problem. But anyways, okay. Let's just let it load for a second. Okay, and the first link is, of course, to buy your very own copy of Animorphs number 13, The Change by K.A. Applegate. And Animorphs is hands down my favorite book series of all time. No questions asked. I remember back in the day when reading it, I really loved it because of the fact that the book series, you know, took me as an adult, treated me as an adult. Like, it throws some stuff at you and goes, hey, I know you can handle this. This isn't really going to be that hard or difficult as, you know, some adults would think. And I remember back in the day when I was, you know, a young adult, little kid, I loved books, series, and authors who would treat me as being as competent as any adult. I mean, of course I still had growing to do, but it wasn't like I was an idiot that needed my hand held at all times. And the next link is to my Twitter. I'm Jashikins on Twitter. And if you know you want to talk all day and night about, not about Twitter, well, sure there can be a few rants to be had there. But anyways, if you want to talk all day and night about Animorphs, go ahead. You won't bore me. Just to warn you though that this whole no spoilers thing for Animorphs is only concerning this dramatic reading. So, you know, if there's stuff you don't want spoiled, just, you know, tell me what part of the series you got to so I don't inadvertently ruin the experience for you. Oh, maybe I can put something else up on the ceiling. Oh, I get so many ideas. And the next link is to, let's see, to my Patreon. The Patreon helps support this stream, all my other various streams, every odd thing I'm doing on my blog, and of course, you know, help support the books I'm releasing. And I currently have 2 tiers, a $1 tier, where you get to see all my Redbubble designs for anyone else. And also $5 tier, where you get to see my cover reveals before anyone else. Little perks here and there. And before one of my Kafka's Men book releases, you get the first chapter for free, and I'm going to start taking down those chapters after a book's release, just to make sure I don't get in trouble with the Amazon. I shouldn't, but you know, just in case. And now to the aforementioned book series that I am writing. It's Kafka's Men, and it's a slow-burning reverse harem series. It has nice little bit of angst, nice little bit of body horror. It's also dark romance, so if you don't like stable relationships or relationships that would be healthy and real life setting, you'll probably enjoy it. Especially the 8th book in the series is it's the darkest book in the series, at least at this point. It is something, I'll tell you that. And the 8th book is currently out for pre-order, and the Kindle version will come out July 4th, and the paperback version will be released on July 7th, a few days later. So, check it out, please. And this is a great time to catch up on the rest of the series. And that is the end of the links. Yay! Oh my god! I am tired today. My body today, for some fucking reason, was like every half hour to an hour was like, wake up, wake up. It's like, I want to sleep. And it's like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Fuck! So that was fun. So that's the end of this stream. Now, if you're watching this live on Twitch in an hour or so, I will be... Hello, Iron Golem. Can you skedaddle? Thank you. So, if you're watching this live on Twitch, in an hour or so, I will be doing my dramatic read of my Skyrim Remedy Connected Universe fic. So, yay! Awesome! God. So, I just like to now take longer breaks between the dramatic streams so I can actually do 2 per day, because I found without those large breaks, the first stream can be really good, the second stream will just like, ugh. At least that's what it felt like. So until next time, whenever that may be, stay safe and goodbye.